Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, yesterday was a great night for Trump. Just no matter how much the liberal media, like USA Today, will convince you that Trump had a disastrous uh, interview with Elon Musk, it really doesn't matter. And you know what? The hypocrisy is just stunning because we can clearly see that when Donald Trump hits a record of viewers, like 25 million viewers on stream viewing the said Elon Musk Donald Trump interview, 25 million. That does say a lot. 25 million viewers. And and the yes, and because of 25 million viewers, you're kind of prone to break the internet, and it did. To be honest, it broke the internet when it came to Donald Trump's interview with Elon Musk, and this resulted to him sounding a little bit slurry when it comes like a little off. Like the USA Today source, which I highly do not recommend, they will continue to tell you that it was an utter disaster. That Trump rambled and slurred his way through an Elon Musk interview. It was an unmitigated disaster. While we can clearly say, yeah, you have pathetic cartoons like that, as you know, USA Today um begins we can clearly know, yeah, it's just we can clearly tell you're pretty biased. uh like, take a look. More, I would say, not even left center. Like, if you go and make dumb cartoons like that, depicting and looking at Tim Walz, making Tim stolen Valor Tim Walz look like a saint, the guy who burnt down Minneapolis St. Paul, and trying to make propaganda in favor for Kamala Harris. You're honestly a puppet for the Democrat Party. I'll give it to CNN. CNN is actually being honest. Uh, or let's just say, the New York Times, they're calling it a ramble. And here's the thing, they would never ever call this a debate or an interview between Kamala Harris and an interviewer like George Stephanopoulos a 2 hour ramble. They would never ever. And in fact, they will continue to let us know. They want to let the whole world know about Kamala Harris and her record setting goals. But here's the thing, we clearly know the BS because behind the curtain, Trump is also setting records. Not only that, he managed to hold 300,000 and a 300,000 live viewers in a live stream when it came to the Gen Z vote. Mainly 300,000 men, to be exact, young Gen Z men, or Gen Z males, to be exact. We are seeing a sexual, I would say, separation. You're seeing young men defecting more to Trump, and that is, I'm going to be honest, and if you're a woman in this channel, I'm not calling you out I'm not saying anything disrespectful. Like, I'm not trying to say make you sound delusional or anything. But what I'm saying is, men, or just Trump supporters in general, are more logical. You're seeing more logical people go for Trump. And you're seeing more emotionally charged people and a lot of women, because believe it or not, we've seen the crowd sizes. Kamala Harris is polling women, and women tend to think through emotion. Emotion. They decide through emotion. Okay? And I'm not saying all women are emotional. There are a lot of women that are logical and reasonable, and those women honestly, they'll have to choose whether to go for Trump or for Harris. But yeah, as I'm saying, the more logical people are going for Trump, and young men, Gen Z men, have this sort of stereotype of being ab- more abstract. This is their intellectual phase, while young Gen Z women are known for being more emotional. Then again, young Gen Z men are not that emotional anymore. In fact, in the teenage phase is when all the tears and the crying stops. Um, and because your emotions start to harden more, you start to harden emotionally, and really you might be sad inside, but it's going to take a lot for a man to cry. That's normal puberty stuff, you know. It's very normal. You start to your emotions get tougher. You start to handle your emotions a different way. As you were younger, emotions were much easy to penetrate through tears. But that's a normal male thing, and the logic, the emotion doesn't triumph over the logic when it comes to young males. Am I saying that's a good thing or a bad thing? I'm not saying males have the advantage. I'm not saying females don't have the sort of advantage. I'm not trying to make it sound like that females, oh, they have this big burden. Well, what I'm saying is this is absolutely normal stuff we are seeing through, as you know, gender and sexual separation here. You're having young men, logical reasoning men, or just logical people in broad going for Donald Trump. Um, and you have emotional people, um, like some like many women and just diverse groups in general, or just emotional people in general, go for Kamala Harris. That's kind of how it's going. And yeah, so despite 25 million viewers and 300,000 male Gen Z viewers and Trump's, uh, as you know, live stream, it seems that Trump isn't going to be taking the popular vote. And guess what? That can be true. Donald Trump may not take back the popular vote in the college. But you know what? That makes it even better. Some ways I want Donald Trump to be the underdog, because the problem, like I said yesterday, with 2022 was everyone thought it was going to be a red wave. We went so easy on the Democrats, so easy that we underestimated them and they pounded us down. We didn't realize that the Democrats rallied the pro abortion mob, and we thought, oh, that mob, you know what? They're going to sulk, they're going to cry and sulk at home about it. But they actually showed up and voted. They listened to Biden and Harris, and Harris's message of voting for Democrats that would swear to protect abortion rights. And guess what? I breaking news for you. That's what happened. Um, so when it comes to this, it is frustrating. But we have to remain the underdog. People were excited about Hillary Clinton. Here's the funny thing: Hillary Clinton was still way more popular than Kamala Harris. You'll still see Kamala Harris is still technically the unfavorable. People are doing jumping jacks for Kamala Harris, and people say, "Oh, this is just a sugar high." Well, yeah, the sugar high. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It's going to continue. It is going to continue, and I doubt that Kamala will take like 5 points. I really doubt, because in the end, during this time, Hillary Clinton was winning majority of polls. And when it got closer and closer, closer you get, more. And I'm expecting maybe Trump to take more polls after the Democrat convention. Well, realistically, Democrats would gain more after the convention, after we look at Um, previous elections, that's usually how it goes. But let's just say October. October end of September, you'd see more Trump polls. We're getting more closer and closer and closer. And we got to remember, in general, Republicans don't take polls. That's why I make it so clear. We need to focus on the polling front. Yeah, it's in the end, polls don't really matter, but they kind of do. They kind of generate momentum. And we just, as long as Trump is doing better than what he was, and I would say, I'm in this case, 2016 and 2020 combined, I think we can honestly win this. I truly do. And even though Kamala Harris in the average is at 1.1, let's just keep going. Let's just not fret. We can still win this. Right now, it looks like a 2016. And in fact, it looks like a better scenario of 2016. Can this be flipped the other direction to hurt Trump? Absolutely. That's what they're going to try to do. A lot of Republicans think, oh, Trump is up so high in the popular vote. That's enough to flip Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona. I've heard so many Republicans think that. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, guys. The national polls have nothing to do with the Electoral College. Absolutely nothing. And let's remember, Trump could be up so high, maybe because of Florida, maybe because of Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, these states that have become more conservative, very populated states that have become more conservative. That would be enough to put Trump up a poll higher. But like I said, that the results could have easily changed in 2016. Hillary Clinton could have won Wisconsin, did her best in Wisconsin. She could have done better in Wisconsin, 0 point something. She could have done better in Michigan. And she could have done better in Pennsylvania. And by that, she would have won the election. All she needed, guys, was, let's see, more than 10,000 votes in Michigan, more than 44,000 votes in Pennsylvania, more than 22,000 votes in Wisconsin, and she wins. And you could technically say that Donald Trump lost the election by 2 points. Just because he's all the way, oh, this is Clinton. I got a little worried there. But just because he's all the way over here at like a 1 point disadvantage of Kamala Harris, that doesn't mean he's all safe to go with the Electoral College. Am I saying Trump needs to win the national vote in order to win? No, I'm not saying that. Honestly, it's the state's decision. That's why I continue to say every single month, at least, that the state polls are the real polls that are the concern. Everyone's so worried about the national polls. No, national polls don't matter. Look at the state polls, for the crying out loud. They're the polls that matter. Stop looking at the national polls. They don't exist. What's the point? These are the real polls. And it looks like as long as Trump continues to, as you know, to hold his ground with the states he has, we can win. Of course, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, realistically, are going to be pretty close. So let's talk more. So we jump it back to the said Twitter. Trump is back on Twitter. And it appears that Twitter is not what it used to be. Twitter used to be a sort of canceling free speech. It's like a what's it called? A third world platform, acting like a third world country. You couldn't even state an opinion. You can't even talk about Hunter Biden's laptop. You get censored off. Anything that disagreed with the Democrat Party, you were censored. And I think it was a gift of God that Elon Musk took over Twitter. He knew, like, yeah, in normal everyday people would be like, yeah, deleting people's posts and their work because you disagree with it is wrong. And claiming it's misinformation is wrong. Especially when you know it's true. So yeah, I'm happy that, I mean, I think it should have stayed as Twitter. I'll be honest. I think X is a cringe name. I'm totally unbiased. But I'll call it X because that's the name. But yeah, this is more of a friendly, freedom fighting platform. Twitter has gone a long way, and now it's being hated on by the left wing. They don't like Elon Musk anymore, even though he was a Democrat for his whole entire life. He's mad that powerful people like they're mad that powerful people like Elon Musk have defected and woken up. I'm like, wow. Actually, Republicans aren't the bad guys. They are not the bad guys. Oh, darn. And I have so many liberal trolls laughing right now. If only you knew. If only you knew how authoritarian you really are. Like, seriously. You go after us for book banning. Really, we're just calling it for all the dirty books to be out of public schools. Period. We're not banning any books. Second, abortion restrictions. We just want the states to decide. Nothing wrong about that. States get to decide all the other laws in this country. Like, for example, it's a state's decision to drive for driving laws. Sure, I mean federally you have to drive on the right side of the road. But if you get to have your phone out in Minnesota, it's a offense to drive with your phone out in your hand. That is, I would say, crime. But I wouldn't say it was a crime, but it would be a civil offense. It's directly against the law. You could get pulled over, get into serious trouble with that. When it comes to that, so yes. But yeah, here's the thing: no other states don't get to decide that role. This is just a Minnesota driving rule. Wisconsin, there's no hands-free rule. In Iowa, there's no hands-free law. If we're gonna do this about abortion, boo-hoo, abortion, blah, 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 states' rights. Well, states' rights has always existed, guys. This is the United States. You just want us to be called the Republic of America? If we are just called the Republic of America, then I have news for you. Then guess what? There are no more states. States don't matter. We'll become a country like France. Their provinces don't get to create laws. Very, 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 very little laws. Very little laws. And that's compared to municipality laws. But the beauty of the United States is the states together create the laws, and that creates the American law. So yes, American states interpret democracy in different ways, and it has been ever since the revolution. So stop BSing. And I'm using that word because that's what you're doing. You're making abortion a huge issue, and it's not. It's done. The abortion issue is done. The states get to decide, period. And if your state doesn't want abortion, go to the other state to get your abortion. You come from North Dakota, cry harder because you just have a 3-hour drive to go to Minnesota. And if you live in Fargo, you have it so easy. Boo-hoo. Big victim. This country is a country of victimhood. You don't want to be a doctor. You don't want to be a teacher. You want to be a victim. That's what you want to be when you grow up. And when we try to make your lives better, you just throw it to the ground and keep throwing your fit. Because really, you want us to kneel down to you and clap your cheeks. That's all you want. So, yes. And really, the fact, it boggles my mind, the European Union gets involved. And they say, oh, Elon Musk, be careful about hate speech. Okay. Well, here's the thing. This is how bad the media has gotten. Now we have people in Europe thinking, mainly European countries in general, thinking, oh, hate speech. Well, they don't, just because Trump is a right-wing populist, heck, we can accuse Bernie Sanders of hate speech because there has been so much racism that the left has committed, from China's anti-Vietnamese laws to the Tibetan laws that are created to discriminately target Buddhists in general in Tibet, committed by communist China. So much. Not just that, but racism and bigotry towards Christians in China. It's not just China, guys. It's not just China. You can find leftism is racism's not a right-wing ideology. Everyone thinks it is. No, it's not. Racism's not even an ideology. Well, it can be. But everyone thinks it's right-wing. No. Yeah, it's some sort of nationalism. But the Maoists in China openly embraced racism towards Buddhists and Vietnamese. The Cambodians under Pol Pot openly embraced racism towards also the Vietnamese. No one likes the Vietnamese. I mean, I have no problem with the Vietnamese. I'm just saying. Vietnamese are good people, but yeah, all these countries that are under communist countries in Asia, they don't like Vietnam and fellow communist country. So yeah, there's racism. I'm just bringing that up because there's example. Everyone thinks, oh, we should be careful of hate speech. No, well, who are you? Europe, get your nose out of our business. This is an American platform. And of course, you have the right to view it. You have audiences from Europe and the UK, I would assume, but other audiences in Europe. But why should European Union government get involved? Like, they're worried, and this is the thing. Europe is just entrenched with emotion. They just think emotionally. They think, oh, hate speech. You literally take the stab into, it's like a stab into the stomach. Big sharp knife into the stomach. Really, we should be teaching our kids how to cope with racism, because racism is going to never go away. It's been the case since human history. And the left wants to do exercises and conduct raids and do all this, basically target people that are racist. That's not going to do anything. That's actually going to make it worse. I can bet you anything. Racism has only increased in America because of the BLM riots. Because, yes, people, and I'm not justifying it at all. I'm not justifying it. But people, in general, do not like victims, people that think they're victims and we know you're not. And you utilize something to make you look bad. Self-pity, right? People hate people that are self-pity. And you know what? You get someone from a certain community mad at you and mad at some sort of group. I'm not saying what they're doing is right, But let's figure out what caused this and what contributed. You can't be born a racist. You can't be born racist. That's impossible. You're related to a racist. Oh, I was born a racist. No, that's not how it works. You could be influenced by someone. That's why there's Europe and continent far away is so determined to censor this and make sure that people don't watch it. But guess what? When the deep state gets involved, you know that that's just going to increase more support for Trump. And now, after this historic 2-hour, by the way, Joe Biden can't even make it through 30 minutes. 2-hour interview with Elon. After this 2-hour interview, generates so much support for Trump. 25 million. And USA Today will not even add. And you saw that cartoon, guys. You go to the Hill, you won't see a cartoon like that. You wouldn't. And you'll say, forget the glitches. Trump's X interview got worse when he started talking. Like, really? Yeah, it's like, obviously, it's just left-wing bias from USA Today. USA, you can get rid of USA because that isn't what America stands for. But yeah, so what do you guys think about Trump's interview? I can do a poll about what I'm hearing from conservatives. It went pretty well. I honestly do think it went pretty well. I think I've seen a lot of support from moderates. They're saying are pretty good, but the left, of course, are going to say it went horrible. I mean, Donald Trump could have done the most biggest speech. I don't know what good thing he would say, and they would still go after him for it. Anything Donald Trump says, and this is how Trump deranged USA Today is, they can't even tolerate him speaking. They can't even tolerate him speaking. They go into TDS mode. So shame on USA Today. Always check the bias. You know if it's left. I honestly would put this into MSNBC mode because, yeah, honestly, it's just ridiculous. So what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.